Pretty much across the industry of technology, you see companies trying to rethink where they're spending money. A lot of this is fueled because they're spending so much on AI and building out data centers and infrastructures that they're taking a closer look across all divisions. So today, Xbox is the one that we see really kind of getting that hammer. They laid out a plan to cut about 20% of staff over the next year. And broader at Microsoft, it's a plan to cut about 6,400 people. Again, just kind of trimming both an Xbox and sales, trying to reorient for what they say will help, them grow in this next era.
Brody, what is the rationale for Microsoft keeping Xbox? The CEO of the Xbox division wrote in a note to staff this morning, and this is based on your reporting, that Xbox is operating at margins 3 to 10 times lower than comparable businesses. I mean, financially, it's not keeping up. So why does Microsoft want to keep it?
It's a good question. Microsoft really has traditionally struggled with consumer businesses. Every time they've kind of tried to spin up, say, like a smartphone or things of this nature over history, it hasn't always gone super well. Xbox, they've been traditionally committed to because it was this unique blend of hardware and software, and they found a niche in it. And yeah, today is them trying to reorient that business into something that they can keep and grow for the long term. So you see them spinning off a lot of studios, talking about how owning content makers maybe isn't the business they want to be in, but owning the platform is something they're still interested in doing.
How much is Xbox? Do we know of their total revenue? Like, how material is it for the financials of this company?
It's a decent chunk of revenue, right? I mean, the issue is the profit.
Yep.
A lot of people buy video games, a lot of people buy consoles, but Microsoft has really struggled to make it super profitable. I think a lot of people forget about the Activision acquisition a couple years ago. I mean, I think that was something like $69 billion. It was one of the biggest tech acquisitions of all time. And yet, a couple years later, we find that the margins haven't kept up. The growth isn't quite what they hoped it would be. Of course, we have the component crunch, right? A lot of things like chips and memory have increased in price, which kind of accelerate all of these issues. So it is a material business for Microsoft. It's not something they're ready to throw away, but it's something that they feel they need to really kind of take a closer look at.
I know you don't cover Sony per se, but how do Xbox's fortunes compare with, say, the Sony PlayStation?
A lot of console makers are struggling right now because of that memory crunch, because AI has essentially messed with the supply chains for a lot of different components that go into computers and infrastructures. And so if you're a console maker that's already running at pretty slim margins, then all of a sudden your memory chips double in price, that's going to make everything tough. And more broadly, content makers are needing to compete against, a wider variety of content that's able to be created with AI. I mean, as it relates to AAA games, they're not, being created with AI, but there's just so many more places for eyeballs to be focused on these days that if you're selling content, it's a more competitive market.
Microsoft stock's down 20% year to date. It's rare that you see that kind of performance out of Microsoft. What's the feeling within the offices that they're Redmond, Washington? I mean, do they talk about their stock? Do they ignore their stock? How do they kind of just talk about it, think about it?
When you ask an executive, they say, "Oh, I don't care about the stock price. I focus on executing." You ask an employee, and they say, "What the heck is going on with our stock price?" Right? And that's consistent across all companies. The big thing for Microsoft, and you can see this with other hyperscalers, you can see it with Oracle very well, is that on one hand, Wall Street is worried about all this spending. Is it going to pay off all the data centers? And on the other end, there are traditional software businesses that have really created the cash cow that is Microsoft. Does that last in the age of AI? So they kind of have these two concurrent fears, which are leading to, yeah, some weakness for a stock that has been just a pretty consistent safe harbor and so much choppiness over the market of recent years.
Brody, I know you cover Microsoft. That company is going to be reporting its quarterly results at the end of this month. Will this Xbox closure, do you think, result in some surprising financials on earnings day?
What I would expect to hear them talk about is ongoing focus on margins, which, is corporate speak for we're planning to fire 20% of people at Xbox. I think we'll hear them talk about how look, we're spending a ton of money on our data centers, on our chips. Our CapEx is in the past hundreds of billions of dollars a year. But we're doing what we can to trim costs everywhere, and we're going to make sure that we're really getting an ROI out of every dollar. I think that will be the high level message. And if you poke underneath it, you see phenomenon like the cost cuts today.